What's up everyone, Sigs here, and today we have part 11 of a series in which I showcase a variety of Pokémon TCG singles with various art styles at various price points in stunning 4K resolution. There is a link down in the description to a playlist containing all of my Pokémon TCG videos, so if you like this kind of thing, be sure to check that out after this video. But for today, we're going to be starting off with this Galvantula EX Special Illustration Rare. So this card is from the Stellar Crown set. I paid $16.99 for it, and this Special Illustration Rare has a lot going on for it. First of all, it pops amazingly in the light, a lot of color contrast with these neon colors, so many different colors, even going around to the edge of the card in this art style I think is very, very cool. And this card also features a special foil pattern. You can see, hopefully, close up in 4K there, these little confetti sparkles, little individual points of holographic light beaming across the card, sparkling across the card, I think is very, very cool. And on top of that, like all Special Illustration Rares, this card is textured. So we have various different texture patterns in various spots on the card, lining up with the lines of the art, which really adds this depth. We also have this ray pattern coming from behind the Galvantula, these rays of light here, really accentuating Galvantula itself in the right light. There's also various finishes. You can see, hopefully in focus here, the way that the eyes of the Galvantula are reflective in that holographic, whereas the textured finish on its face is not, really making its eyes just sparkle by itself. So there's a lot going on with this card. I think it looks very, very good. So as always, I will get you in up close in 4K 60 FPS, let you see the artwork on that card, some of that texturing and confetti sparkle coming through. So there's a lot of color on this card, a lot of different effects, and if you're into that kind of thing, this might be something you would want to pick up. And it's something that you probably won't see in pictures or scans of the card, that you really have to see in person or in a video like this in order to know what it really looks like. So hopefully you enjoyed seeing that one. And hopefully you enjoy seeing this next one as well, because next up we have the Torkoal Secret Rare. This card is a secret rare from the Cosmic Eclipse set. I paid $9.50 for it, and I think this is just such a cool artwork. There's no texturing on this card. It has that kind of glossy finish. It does have a flat holographic background, no crazy patterning. It does pop pretty well in the light, actually. Some good color contrast with the red there against the blue background. But again, I think the main selling point for this card is just this cool full art artwork featuring this Torkoal as well as Flannery, a very popular trainer. So you can see here up close, this card has that kind of trainer gallery full art style, a very cool full art card for what I would say is a fairly reasonable price, and one that's going to look pretty good in a binder or even just loose by itself when the light catches it and that holographic really shines. So feel free to let me know what you think of this art style down in the comments, but I think it's pretty cool. And next up we have another card in this art style. This time it is the Chandelure. This card is an ultra rare. It's from the Lost Origin Trainer Gallery, but I only paid $1.60 for this one. So considerably cheaper than the last one, but we still get a full art card featuring a Pokemon and a trainer there. Pretty cool, again, that flat holographic, no texturing, kind of a glossy finish, but I do love the contrast between the matte finish on the trainer and the Pokemon, contrasting with the holographic background. Just look at the way Chandelure's eyes glow right there. I love when they do that. This card pops pretty well in the light, some nice coloring there, very purple. And as always, we get you in up close in 4K, let you see this artwork. So a very cool full art card for not a lot of money. Again, I think these full arts are really cool, maybe not as fancy as the Special Illustration Rares that have all the texturing and confetti foil pattern and all that, but I still think it looks really, really good, and it's not super expensive. And speaking of cards that are not super expensive, but do have very crazy stuff going on with them, we have this Chandelure VMAX. So this ultra rare is from the Fusion Strike set, and I actually only paid $1.41 for it, so less than the previous card, but this one has a lot more going on. It has this holographic ray pattern you can see moving across the card there. It pops pretty darn well in the light, a lot of color contrast there. The Chandelure featured prominently in the middle with this swirling background. And in that swirling background, and on the Pokemon itself, we have texturing. So no fancy confetti foil like the SIR, but it does have the same kind of texturing, different lines of texture on different elements of the card. I love the texturing on the swirls in the background here, really adding to this sense of motion in the card. And all in all, just a very cool card for not a lot of money at all. Get you in up close, you can see those texture lines, that foiling there up close. A very, very cool card for not a lot of money. And another card that I think is very, very cool and is also not a lot of money is this Pomo. This holo rare is from the Trick or Treat 2024 set, and I only paid 40 cents for it, so super cheap. And you might think it's not that cool, just a basic card frame, you know, who cares? But what's really cool is this is a Cosmo holo card. So you can see, if I get the angle just right, certainly up at the top here, but also in the frame of the card itself, these holographic cosmic specks and swirls, these little stars, so much holographic going on in the right light there. I think that's just so cool. On a card for 40 cents, this card really glistens and glows with that holographic. It does pop pretty well in the light too, the holographic adding a silver sheen to the borders and the holographic portion of the card. And we'll get you in close. You can really see that Cosmo holographic down to almost the individual pixel up at the top there. And I'll let you see the artwork in the face of the card in 4K. Nothing too fancy, but if we can get in close and see that holographic pattern, hopefully you can see why this card is so, so cool. So for a pretty cheap pickup, you can get this very cool holographic pattern on a card. Now, this next one's something totally different, but I thought it would be cool to showcase. It is a Water Energy. Now, you might think that's pretty boring, just an energy card, but this one is a textured full art. It is from the Crown Zenith set. It is an ultra rare. I paid $3 for it. And while at the end of the day, it is just a standard energy, it features this really cool holographic pattern. Pops very well in the light with that holographic, a very, very deep shade of blue. And even cooler is it's textured, so you can see these little textured water droplets all around this essentially full art artwork, and I think that's really cool. That's another thing that you're not going to see in pictures of this card or scans of it necessarily. You really have to see it in person or in one of these videos to know that this card has additional textured water symbols on it. And again, maybe this isn't so exciting to everyone, but I'm someone who collects land cards in Magic the Gathering, so this is kind of the Pokemon equivalent. There's a full set of these from the Crown Zenith set with this cool texturing and holographic, and I think it's just a really unique way to either bling out your deck or put them all in a binder. Really vibrant card, cool texturing, cool holographic. I actually think this might be my favorite card in the video. But moving right on to another card that is a strong contender, we have this Pinsir Illustration Rare. This one's from Twilight Masquerade. I paid $8.49 for it, and it's just such a unique art style, I think. So we do have this holographic ray pattern that all the illustration rares have. But what I really like about this card is the way it pops in the light, that art style, with all these flat colors really pop in the light. Even though it's shiny, it almost appears like a matte finish just because of how flat those colors are. Not a lot of shadow or gradient going on. And we'll get you in close, let you see this artwork in 4K. Again, I think these illustration rares are just really cool because they're so unique in their art style. Almost like a little piece of handheld artwork you could have. And this one featuring Pinsir I think is pretty darn cool. So no texturing going on there, but we get the great color pop with the flat colors and the extra holographic to really make this card shine. So that's one that I like a lot. And for this next one, we have something totally different because we have the Aerodactyl Delta species. So this card is actually only an uncommon, and we don't have anything crazy going on. There's no holographic, there's no texturing, but what we do have on this card that I paid $4.56 for is a very cool retro frame and a Delta species Pokemon. Some of these Delta species cards are incredibly expensive, so to be able to pick one up for less than $5 I think is really cool. It's a popular Pokemon with Aerodactyl there, with that glowing orange silhouette. I think it's just a cool artwork and a cool retro frame. And it's maybe not as flashy as some of the other cards we've seen in this video, but it definitely has that nostalgic appeal, and I think it's pretty cool. And for this next card, we have another very cool Pokemon, because we have the Entei. This card is a holo rare from the Ancient Origins set that I paid $5.08 for, and I think it's just really cool, this full art of Entei in the foreground and the way that the matte finish on Entei contrasts with this holographic background. You can see these rays coming across the card, moving in a different diagonal direction than most of the modern illustration rares do, and just that contrast with the shiny holographic background and the matte on Entei so prominently featured up in the front, I think makes this card look pretty cool. So get you in close, you can see the artwork. We'll give a little wiggle here. You can see that contrast between the foil background and the Pokemon itself. And we'll go all the way through, let you see the whole card. Once again, not to keep repeating myself, but that's just something you're not going to see in a picture or a scan of this card. You have to see it in person or in one of these videos to know that the way Entei stands against this foreground, almost adding a sense of depth, like they're ready to leap through the card, is just something you wouldn't realize until you see the card in person. So because of that, I think this one is way cooler than you would think otherwise, and hopefully it's useful for you to see this card in this way. And for our last card, we have a banger. We have the Solgaleo and Lunala GX Tag Team. This card is from Sun and Moon's Cosmic Eclipse. It is an ultra rare that I paid $29.99 for, and while it isn't the fanciest version of this card, there's a lot of really cool stuff going on. So we have this anime art style on the Lunala and Solgaleo with Lily there in this matte finish contrasting with this holographic background that has this unique pattern of holographic weaving its way through the card. Now, this card pops amazingly in the light, almost looking like a still from the Pokemon anime or a movie there. I think is really cool. So we'll get you in up close to see that artwork, and you can really see that holographic pattern. It's in fixed locations, and the shine moves around within those fixed lines, again contrasting with the matte finish on the Pokemon and the trainer, once again allowing them to kind of pop forward out of the card. I think this card looks really cool, featuring two Pokemon and a trainer with this super unique foil pattern on this glossy finished card. And whether or not it's worth the price, that is up for you to decide, but I personally think it is very, very cool. But that's all for today's video. Please leave a quick thumbs up if you enjoyed it to help other people find it, and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more videos like this, as I plan to release at least one a week for the foreseeable future. We have lots of different cards in lots of different art styles, and again, a lot of times you don't really realize exactly how these cards look until you see them in person or in a video like this. So hopefully there was at least one or two cards that had some elements to them that you didn't really know about, and may help to inform a decision about whether or not you would like to add these cards to your collection. So thanks for watching, have a great day. I've been Sigs, but for now I'm out of here. Take care, peace.